Before the sails of Columbus breached the horizons of the New World, there were empires, vast, mighty, and relentless in their quest for dominion. These empires, their legacies etched not merely in ancient stones, but ingrained in the very fabric of modern civilization, painted the vast stretches of the known world with the colors of their banners. The European colonization wave that swept the globe from the 15th to the 20th century is a narrative often underscored by tales of enslavement, exploitation, and cultural obliteration. Yet it's not the whole story of conquest. Long before Europe set its sights on distant shores, ancient empires had already embarked on their own journeys of expansion. The Persians, Umayyads, Mongols, Ottomans, and the Qing, each of these civilizations marked their path with more than just military might. They brought with them an exchange of ideas, a melding of cultures, and an administrative acumen that often left the core of subjugated societies intact. Consider the Persians, who didn't merely conquer but assimilated, creating a rich tapestry unified in administration yet diverse in its cultural threads. Or the Umayyads, whose dominion stretched far and wide, fostering societies rich in intellectual pursuit and fervent in faith. These ancient conquerors offer a different breed of conquest, one that is not solely defined by the sword's might, but also by the pen's influence. Their legacies indicate a time when the path to power was not just about ruling over lands, but also about understanding and integrating the cultures within them. The contrast is stark, and the outcomes are divergent. As we traverse back in time, we find that the might of the sword did indeed carve the paths of nations, but it was the power of culture, ideas, and administration that truly shaped their destinies. In a world fragmented by ceaseless conflict, the Achaemenid Persians emerged as the synthesizers of civilizations. With a span of over 2 centuries, from the mid-6th to the late 4th century BCE, the Achaemenid Empire, also known as the First Persian Empire, thrived as one of the world's largest empires of its time. The Persian Empire refers to several dynasties that originated in what is now Iran, spanning numerous centuries from the 6th century BC to the 20th century AD. The First Persian Empire, established by Cyrus the Great, also known as Cyrus II, around 550 BC, emerged as one of history's most expansive empires, extending from the Balkan Peninsula in Europe in the west to the Indus Valley in India in the east. Often referred to as the Achaemenid Empire, this Iron Age dynasty stood as a global epicenter of cultural, religious, scientific, artistic, and technological advancements for over 2 centuries, until it succumbed to the invading forces of Alexander the Great. Unlike many of their contemporaries, they did not seek to obliterate the cultures of the lands they conquered. Instead, they embraced these diverse cultures, incorporating their best elements into the Persian way of life. Cyrus, a masterful military leader, understood that to secure a steady flow of tribute revenues, it was vital to maintain conquered regions in a stable economic state. With a cunning strategy, he kept local rulers in power after conquest and let residents continue their cherished religious practices. These clever policies guaranteed the smooth economic operations of these regions, while minimizing the risk of uprising against his rule. In ancient Mesopotamia, rulers often employed the cunning tactic of relocating defeated populations. This disrupted their political and cultural bonds, rendering them less threatening to the reigning powers. However, Cyrus the Great ingeniously flipped this strategy on its head. He allowed the previously displaced Jewish population, victims of Babylonian relocation, to return to Israel and establish a loyal tributary state. While this may seem like pure benevolence, don't be fooled. Cyrus masterfully calculated this action to secure Jewish loyalty to his throne. This approach fostered an empire that was a melting pot of civilizations, each contributing its unique flavor to the rich cultural tapestry of the Achaemenid era. It was under the reign of Cyrus the Great that this philosophy of cultural assimilation truly took root. Cyrus was not only a formidable warrior but also a wise ruler, who understood that the strength of an empire lay not in the might of its armies, but in the unity of its people. Cyrus the Great ushered in a new era of governance, establishing a centralized administration that maintained the empire's diversity while ensuring its unity. This approach to governance was revolutionary for its time and set the foundation for the empire's prosperity. The Achaemenid Persians managed to create a delicate balance between maintaining order and allowing cultural diversity, a feat that few empires have been able to replicate. Under rulers like Cyrus the Great, They didn't merely conquer, they assimilated, adopting the best of each culture they subsumed, creating a tapestry rich in diversity yet unified in administration. Then came the Umayyads, whose dominion stretched from the sandy dunes of Arabia to the far reaches of Spain and India. Umayyad Caliphate was established in 661 AD, following the Rashidun Caliphate, and experienced rapid expansion until 750 AD, when it was overthrown by the Abbasid Caliphate. Emerging from the heartland of Arabia, the Umayyads were pioneers of a different kind of conquest. Their rise to power marked not only the spread of a new political order, but also the propagation of a new faith, Islam. This was a time when the call of the muezzin echoed from the minarets of Damascus, across the Mediterranean, to the towers of Alhambra in Spain. Their empire, a sprawling expanse that spanned 3 continents, was a vibrant melting pot of cultures. Here, Arab traditions intermingled with the rich cultural tapestries of Persia, Egypt, Spain, and India. The Umayyad Caliphate, under the reign of various caliphs, conquered a vast range of territories including Ifriqiya. This region corresponds to modern-day Tunisia, eastern Algeria, and western Libya. Sindh, a province in present-day Pakistan. The Maghreb, encompassing much of North Africa, including modern Algeria, Tunisia, Libya, and parts of Morocco. Hispania, Al-Andalus, the Iberian Peninsula, corresponding to modern Spain and Portugal. Armenia, along with the principalities of Caucasian Albania and Iberia, not to be confused with the Iberian Peninsula, which were consolidated into the province of Armenia. Transoxiana was also conquered by the Umayyad Caliphate. These were Central Asian territories, including modern Uzbekistan, Tajikistan, southern Kyrgyzstan, and southwest Kazakhstan. The Umayyad Caliphate secured Transoxiana through tributary alliances, with cities like Bukhara and Samarkand becoming future centers of Islamic and Arabic learning. Yet the Umayyads were more than just conquerors. They were the torchbearers of knowledge. Their reign saw the rise of intellectual pursuits, with scholars in the Umayyad courts translating and preserving the wisdom of ancient civilizations. They fostered a culture of learning, establishing libraries and schools across their empire. The city of Cordoba, under Umayyad rule, was a beacon of enlightenment, where scholars of all faiths congregated to study everything from astronomy and medicine to philosophy and poetry. At the same time, the Umayyads were architects of a new world, quite literally. Their aesthetic sensibilities gave birth to the distinct Umayyad architectural style, a fusion of Roman, Byzantine, and Persian influences, all underpinned by the unique Islamic ethos. This style would leave its mark on the landscapes of cities from Damascus to Cordoba, its remnants still visible in the architectural marvels that dot these ancient lands. The Umayyads, thus, were not mere conquerors. They were the harbingers of a new era, an era where the power of faith went hand in hand with the pursuit of knowledge and the appreciation of diversity. They were the heralds of a new faith that would meld with the local traditions, forging societies that were as rich in intellectual pursuit as they were fervent in faith. Amidst the medieval chaos, the Ottomans arose as the bearers of a legacy that straddled the East and West. The Ottoman Empire was founded around 1299 AD and expanded significantly from the late 14th century through the early 20th century, reaching its peak during the 16th and 17th centuries under Suleiman the Magnificent. An empire that sprouted from the ashes of the Seljuk Sultanate of Rum, the Ottoman Empire soon stretched its mighty wings over 3 continents, enveloping Asia, Europe, and Africa under the shadow of its crescent banner. At the heart of its rise was a unique cocktail of military prowess, strategic diplomacy, and a deep-seated respect for the diversity of cultures under its dominion. The Ottomans, unlike many of their contemporaries, did not seek to obliterate the identities of the societies they conquered. Instead, they fostered a spirit of tolerance, allowing subjugated peoples to retain their religious and cultural customs. It was this approach that prevented the empire from descending into the abyss of internal strife and rebellion. In the bustling streets of Istanbul, then Constantinople, one could hear the chants of the muezzin intertwine with the tolling bells of Christian churches. The city was a living testament to the empire's policy of religious freedom, a melting pot of faiths coexisting in harmony. This tolerance extended beyond faith, seeping into the realms of art, architecture, and academia. leading to a vibrant cultural synthesis that is still evident in the region today. The Ottoman Empire's administrative acumen was equally notable. The empire was divided into provinces, each governed by a pasha who was directly accountable to the sultan. This decentralized system ensured efficient governance while maintaining a firm grip on the vast territories. The Ottomans also championed the cause of public welfare, establishing an extensive network of social institutions. Hospitals, schools, soup kitchens, and public baths were set up across the empire, fostering a sense of community and shared identity among its diverse populace. The legacy of the Ottomans is not just one of conquest, but of cultural confluence and administrative innovation. They were the architects of a world where the East and West could coexist, where different faiths and cultures could flourish under one banner. Their empire was a crucible of civilizations, where the sword of conquest was often followed by the olive branch of tolerance and cultural assimilation. The Mongols, on the other hand, were a storm that swept across the continents. Born of the harsh, windswept steppes of Central Asia, the Mongols were a people hardened by the elements and honed by the necessities of a nomadic life. When they poured forth from their homeland in the early 13th century under the banner of Genghis Khan, they were an unstoppable force. Their conquests were swift and brutal. Cities fell, empires crumbled, and the known world trembled under the thunderous charge of their horsemen. The Mongol horde was a tempest of destruction, a whirlwind of death that forged the largest contiguous empire in history. From the blue waters of the Pacific to the verdant heartlands of Europe, no kingdom was safe from their relentless onslaught. But don't let the tales of their savagery overshadow the other side of the coin. For while the Mongols were ruthless conquerors, they were also astute administrators, innovative rulers, and keen patrons of culture and learning. Once the dust of conquest had settled, they set about knitting together their vast dominion into a cohesive whole. They established an intricate system of communication, with relay stations and couriers ensuring the swift delivery of messages and orders across the empire. They instituted laws that promoted trade, protected merchants, and fostered economic growth. They encouraged the exchange of ideas and the diffusion of technologies, leading to an unprecedented era of cultural interaction and intellectual cross-pollination. From the Chinese gunpowder to the Persian astronomical tables, from the Arabic numerical system to the European mechanical clock, the Mongol Empire became a vibrant conduit for the flow of knowledge, ideas, and innovations. It was a network that spanned continents, bridging the East and the West, the North and the South, knitting the world into a single tapestry of intertwined destinies. Their conquests were brutal, yes, but they also ushered in an era of unprecedented cultural exchange and trade, creating a network of ideas that spanned from the Pacific to the heart of Europe. In the Far East, the dragon roared as the Qing Dynasty stitched together a realm that was as vast in territory as it was diverse in culture. The Qing Dynasty, known as the last imperial dynasty of China, held the reins of the Middle Kingdom from 1644 to 1912. This dynasty was established by the Manchus, a federation of Northeast Asian tribes who overthrew the Ming Dynasty and claimed the Dragon Throne, and thus began a reign that stretched over nearly 3 centuries. During this time, the Qing Dynasty expanded China's borders to include Taiwan, Tibet, and Xinjiang, creating the largest territorial expanse in the nation's history. But the Qing weren't just conquerors, they were also unifiers. They managed to skillfully stitch together a realm that was as vast in territory as it was diverse in culture. At the heart of this cultural fusion were the Manchu, Han, and Mongol traditions. The Manchu brought their unique customs, language, and dress, which they sought to preserve even as they ruled over the majority Han Chinese. The Han, on the other hand, were the bearers of millennia-old traditions, philosophies, and arts that had shaped China's civilization. The Mongols, who had once ruled over China during the Yuan dynasty, also had a significant influence. Under the Qing rule, these distinct cultures didn't just coexist, they blended and intermingled. The Manchu adopted the Confucian philosophies of the Han. The Han embraced the Manchus' 8 banners military system, and both borrowed elements from the Mongols' nomadic lifestyle. This fusion of traditions led to a vibrant and dynamic culture that was reflected in everything from arts and literature to architecture and cuisine. It was an era of cultural synthesis that left an indelible mark on China's history. Under the Qing dynasty, Kangxi Dictionary was compiled. This comprehensive dictionary of Chinese characters, set a standard for Chinese lexicography. Under their rule, the creation of the Imperial Encyclopedia, a massive compendium of Chinese literature and knowledge, was a notable achievement. So here we have the Qing Dynasty, a reign marked by conquest, consolidation, and cultural fusion. A reign that saw the melding of Manchu, Han, and Mongol traditions into a unique tapestry of civilization. A reign that left a legacy that continues to echo through the annals of history. Their reign saw the fusion of Manchu, Han, and Mongol traditions, creating a legacy that resonates through the annals of history. The echoes of the ancient conquerors resound through the ages, shaping the course of nations. The touch of their cultures, their philosophies, their innovations, and their conflicts have weaved an intricate tapestry that is our shared human history. The Persians left behind a legacy of administrative excellence and cultural assimilation, setting an example for other empires to follow. Their influence can be seen in the diverse cultures of the Middle East and Central Asia, where elements of Persian art, language, and governance persist to this day. The Umayyads instigated a period of intellectual growth and cultural exchange that spanned continents. They laid the groundwork for the Golden Age of Islam, a period marked by significant advancements in science, mathematics, literature, and philosophy that still resonate in our modern world. The Ottomans, straddling the crossroads of Europe and Asia, melded the traditions of the Roman, Byzantine, and Persian empires, creating a unique cultural blend. Their legacy of tolerance and cultural assimilation is reflected in the diverse and vibrant cultures of modern Turkey and the Balkans. The Qing, the last royal dynasty of China, left behind a rich cultural heritage that is deeply woven into the fabric of modern China. Their rule saw the fusion of Manchu, Han, and Mongol traditions, creating a unique cultural identity that resonates in China's art, architecture, and language. The Mongols, despite their reputation for brutality, connected the East and West, creating a network of trade and cultural exchange that had far-reaching effects. They introduced paper and printing to the West, which would later fuel the Renaissance and the scientific revolution. These empires, these ancient conquerors, their echoes reverberate across time. They remind us that our world is shaped by the confluence of cultures, by the ebb and flow of power, by the exchange of ideas and traditions. They remind us of our shared history, our shared journey, and our shared destiny. Their legacies are etched not merely in the ancient stones, but in the very fabric of modern civilization. If this journey through time has ignited the spark of curiosity, hit the like button, share your thoughts in the comments, and join us as we continue to unveil the tapestry of our past, chapter by chapter, tale by tale.